Welcome to our in-depth exploration of the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan and how global superpowers, the United States and China, are influencing this volatile conflict. This video dives into the latest developments, offering a clear and concise breakdown of the situation as of May 2025. The India-Pakistan conflict, rooted in decades of territorial disputes, has flared up again, drawing international attention. At the heart of this crisis is the disputed region of Kashmir, a flashpoint that has sparked wars and skirmishes since 1947. On April 22, 2025, a terrorist attack in Pahalgam, in Indian-administered Kashmir, killed 26 tourists, mostly Indian nationals. India blamed Pakistan for the attack, claiming it was orchestrated by militant groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, based across the border. Pakistan denied any involvement, calling for an independent investigation into the incident. This event triggered a rapid escalation, with both nations engaging in military strikes, missile attacks, and drone warfare. By May 7, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting what it called terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Pakistan reported 31 deaths, including civilians, and condemned the strikes as an act of war. In retaliation, Pakistan claimed to have shot down Indian fighter jets, including French-made Rafale planes, using Chinese-supplied J-10C jets. India has not confirmed these losses, leaving uncertainty about the scale of the aerial engagements. The conflict has seen unprecedented use of drones, marking a new phase in India-Pakistan military rivalry. India has deployed Israeli-supplied Harop and Heron drones, while Pakistan relies on Chinese and Turkish models. This drone warfare has raised concerns about escalation, as unmanned systems lower the political cost of strike. The line of control, the de facto border in Kashmir, has become a hotspot, with heavy shelling reported on both sides. Civilians are bearing the brunt, with dozens killed and thousands displaced in border villages. In Pakistan-administered Kashmir, residents describe constant fear, with shelling destroying homes and mosques. In Indian-administered Kashmir, locals report similar devastation, with schools closed and families fleeing. Amid this chaos, global powers are closely watching, with the United States and China playing pivotal roles. The United States has historically mediated India-Pakistan crises, but its approach in 2025 has been less assertive. President Donald Trump announced a U.S.-brokered ceasefire on May 10, 2025, calling it a full and immediate truce. However, within hours, both sides accused each other of violations, with explosions reported in Srinagar and Jammu. India claimed Pakistan breached the ceasefire, while Pakistan insisted it was responding to Indian aggression. The U.S. has urged both nations to work toward a responsible solution, but its influence over Pakistan has waned. Since the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021, Pakistan has shifted closer to China for military and economic support. China has supplied 81% of Pakistan's weapons imports over the past 5 years, including advanced jets and missiles. This makes the current conflict a testing ground for Chinese military technology against Western-supplied Indian arsenals. China has expressed concern about the escalation, urging both sides to exercise restraint and avoid further complications. Beijing has backed Pakistan's call for an independent probe into the Pahalgam attack, aligning with its all-weather ally. At the same time, China is navigating a delicate balance as it seeks to improve ties with India to counter U.S. pressure. The U.S., meanwhile, has strengthened its partnership with India, designating it a major defense partner. India has purchased billions in U.S. military equipment, including MQ-9B Predator drones, to bolster its capabilities. This shift has redrawn military alliances in South Asia, with India leaning west and Pakistan aligning with China. The involvement of nuclear-armed nations raises the stakes. In 2019, U.S. officials detected nuclear arsenal movements during an India-Pakistan clash, prompting urgent diplomacy. The current crisis has sparked similar fears, with Pakistan's nuclear oversight body reportedly convening. Pakistan's defense minister later clarified no such meeting was planned, easing some concerns. Still, the presence of nuclear weapons underscores the need for de-escalation to prevent catastrophic consequences. The international community, including the United Nations, has called for maximum restraint from both sides. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned that a military confrontation would be disastrous for global stability. Other nations, including Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE, have also played roles in mediating the ceasefire. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif thanked these countries for their diplomatic efforts. Despite the ceasefire, punitive measures like trade suspensions and visa cancellations remain in place. India has also suspended the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty, escalating economic tensions. This treaty, a rare example of cooperation, regulates water sharing from the Indus River system. Its suspension could have long-term consequences for both nations which rely on these rivers. Social media has further complicated the situation, with misinformation amplifying nationalist sentiments. False visuals, including footage from unrelated conflicts, have been shared to claim military victories. This has fueled public anger, pressuring both governments to maintain hardline stances. In India, right-wing accounts have called for information warfare, urging citizens to amplify anti-Pakistan narratives. In Pakistan, similar rhetoric has portrayed India as the aggressor, deepening public mistrust. Experts warn that this social media frenzy could force escalatory actions to satisfy domestic audiences. The human toll of the conflict is heartbreaking, with civilians caught in the crossfire. In Muzaffarabad, a resident described trying to evacuate 20 family members amid relentless shelling. In Jammu, families are sheltering in safe houses, with authorities urging residents to stay indoors. The conflict has disrupted daily life, with blackouts, flight cancellations, and school closures. Pakistan's Super League cricket matches were postponed due to the worsening situation. The economic impact is also significant, with Pakistan facing a lingering financial crisis. The IMF recently approved a $1 billion loan to Pakistan, part of a larger bailout package. India, aiming to position itself as a global economic alternative to China, risks setbacks from prolonged conflict. The US and China are not just observers. Their strategic interests shape the conflict's dynamics. The US sees India as a key partner in its Indo-Pacific strategy to counter China's growing influence. Initiatives like the US-India Compact, launched in February 2025, focus on military and technological collaboration. China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, has invested heavily in Pakistan, including the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This economic lifeline strengthens Pakistan's reliance on Beijing, deepening their strategic partnership. The conflict thus serves as a proxy for US-China rivalry, with each backing opposing sides. Analysts describe this as a shift in global alignments, with South Asia becoming a geopolitical battleground. The US has limited leverage over Pakistan, strained by years of diverging interests post-Afghanistan. China's support for Pakistan, however, is not unconditional, as it also seeks regional stability. Beijing's diplomatic tightrope reflects its broader goal of countering US influence without sparking a wider conflict. For India, the conflict tests its military modernization and its aspirations as a global power. For Pakistan, it highlights its dependence on external allies and the limits of its economic resilience. The Kashmir dispute remains at the core, with both nations claiming the region in its entirety. Kashmiris themselves are often sidelined, their voices drowned out by military posturing. Scholars argue that denying Kashmiri self-determination fuels the cycle of violence. Past progress in India-Pakistan relations often followed crises. When back-channel talks led to detent, the current crisis could, in theory, pave the way for dialogue, but deep mistrust makes this challenging. The role of third parties like the US, China, and Gulf nations will be critical in facilitating talk. However, their competing interests may complicate efforts to achieve a lasting resolution. The ceasefire, though fragile, offers a glimmer of hope, but both sides must commit to sustained de-escalation. Restoring communication channels like military hotlines could prevent miscalculations. Confidence-building measures such as prisoner exchanges have worked in the past and could again. Ultimately, addressing the root causes, including Kashmir's status, will require bold political will. For now, the world watches anxiously, hoping cooler heads prevail in this nuclear-armed region. The India-Pakistan conflict is not just a regional issue. Its ripples affect global security and alliances. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into one of the world's most critical geopolitical crises. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for our next video.